What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Surfing the Stream, where every week we're on a quest to find out what is the greatest movie of all time. I am here to review Under Paris, which is a movie that I 100% feel bamboozled by, because let me tell you guys, going into this movie, I completely understood the absurdity of what I was about to watch. All right? It is a shark movie, and somehow the shark ends up in the waters of Paris and then ends up in the catacombs. And to me when I hear that storyline, my thought is, okay, this is going to be one of those movies that's so bad it's good. Maybe not quite to the level of like Sharknado, but I was expecting a movie that was just going to be stupid and fun, at least entertaining, okay? Just from the fact that the storyline just seems totally ridiculous, right? And let me tell you, they could not have failed at the tone of this movie more than they did. The tone issue with this movie is the fact that they 100% took this serious. Like, this isn't like they went into it and said, okay, guys, this is a ridiculous storyline, and we're just going to swing for the fences here, okay? We are going to do some absurd shit during this movie, and people are going to be not necessarily wowed by how great it is, but they're going to have a great time. And that's all we can count on for them, watching this movie. And that is not what we got. Okay? They actually, with the exception of a couple moments here or there, I didn't really laugh, and I didn't really find it overall entertaining. So, jumping into this movie, so right off the bat, this is not going to be a movie that I'm going to recommend to you. I think there are way better shark movies out there, and just a little disclaimer, this movie is in French. There are dubs. Obviously, there's one for English if you want to still watch it. Overall, Under Paris is a movie that has conflicts with its tone. There are moments when, yes, it kind of leans into the absurdity of what's going on, but for the most part, this is a 100% serious movie. I wish they would have just went absolutely ridiculous and just made it a fun, entertaining movie. And that's one thing that this movie is not. I found myself really being distracted most of this movie. I didn't. There were moments in this movie that I found myself looking at my phone, scrolling through Facebook, and not really giving a shit about it. And I didn't find the movie like overall entertaining. Now, with that being said, there are moments in this movie. Okay, now when I say this, that doesn't mean go watch this movie, because they're not that good. There are some moments in this movie that are actually pretty damn good in terms of like it being a shark movie and creating tension, creating horror, that kind of elements to the movie. 100%, they do some cool shit in this movie. And so, full spoilers, there is a moment towards the end of the movie. They're doing a triathlon, and all the swimmers are in the water, and you realize that this shark has mated. Not mated, but she has become pregnant. She's had hundreds, if not thousands, of baby sharks, okay? And you see them in the catacombs, and the sharks are just swirling around. Now, on paper, that seems really fucking cool. It looks cool as shit. Now, an explosion happens, and then like we never see those sharks ever again, and then it's just the big mother shark at the very end, and then there's an explosion, and she disappears. So I don't know. There are some plot holes here. There's some story issues there as well, which is why I've kind of which is one of the reasons why I would not recommend this movie. It's just there's so many plot holes in this movie and things that they just don't fill in the gaps with. So, like I said, there are some cool-ass scenes in this movie. That being one of them is just the imagery of just thousands of sharks circling above them while they're trying to set these charges and whatnot. Pretty fucking cool looking, right? And then they get you on the edge of your seat thinking, okay, they're about to blow this up, and I guess they're trying to get them back out to the ocean or whatever. But there are hundreds of swimmers out there, and you got thousands of sharks right here. The idea is there for them to capitalize and make this an amazing amazing action sequence where we have thousands of sharks going after them, and they don't do that. They just the sharks just disappear for the most part. And then going to the aspect of the huge ass shark, well, they don't ever explain the new species. Like, they find out that this is a new species of shark. What is the backstory behind this fucking shark? Okay, you're not just showing up all willy-nilly tracking a shark and it's just all of a sudden being the top of the food chain and growing exponentially and then breeding with itself and yada yada yada, right? So they just don't really fill in the gaps there. And then we have these character moments, if you want to call it that. I'm putting air quotes around that. There are character moments here where it's just like, I don't care about any of these characters whatsoever. I think all the characters in general just kind of fucking suck, to be honest with you. But then we're trying to get the two main leads to like each other or something. I don't know. There's some weirdness there that I'm not 100% sure what they were going for. But it didn't work. 100% didn't work. And then we have the ending, which by all means, when they start blowing up these charges, apparently there's like live artillery shells all throughout the river in Paris. And they ended up exploding and blowing up all the bridges. Cool sequence. Makes no fucking sense in the grand scheme of things when it's in reference to a shark movie, but I will allow it. It was cool, right? But then the movie just ends. It just ends. I don't understand it. So, needless to say, I spent an hour and 45 minutes of my life just wasting away watching this, hoping it gets better, and it never gets better. It never gets better. It's just, I don't feel like they just do anything absolutely atrocious in this movie to say, okay, this is just a shitty made movie, right? Like, I wouldn't put it on my worst movies of all time list or anything like that. But they also don't do anything good either. Again, some of the character development, I take that back. A lot of the character development and the story aspects of it just really just fall flat for me. Now, some of the imagery, some of the sequences don't make fucking sense whatsoever, but I allow it, right? Because it's an absurd shark movie. But again, there are the tone issues that kind of bounce off of that, and it just doesn't work because it is absurd. It needs to be silly, right? It's just, they couldn't balance that tone out well enough for me. But like I said, I think there are way better shark movies out there that you can go watch. Jaws. What was the one with Blake Lively? Shallow Water, I think it was what it was called. Really good movie considering the fact that it's in like one fucking spot the entire movie. Really good movie. Deep Blue Sea, which is like one of the best shark movies ever. And that movie right there knows how to balance seriousness and cheesiness, and it did it fucking perfectly. This movie did not. So, Under Paris, would not recommend it, guys. But it is on Netflix if you decide you want to check it out. If you have, let me know in the comments below what you think about this movie and whether you would recommend it to the fine people out there. But that's going to be it for me, and I'll catch y'all next time on another review. Laters.